Scooby-Doos, where are you?
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessa, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Friday, October 17th, 2025. My God, where did this week fucking go? Wow, it's been one of those things that's just going by as a whirlwind. But before we get into the story, let's go ahead and welcome in our audience. Who the hell do we have out there? Let me go ahead and take a look so I can bring you in before the show gets started. Let's see participants. Who do we have out there? We have Amiga Rules, Benjamin Dryas here along with Bob Thorson. We got Brendan England, Brian Morgan, Carl Joel Garrison's in the chat. We got Chromosome Cowboy, Craig Smith, Delta Echo, Eliza Teal, Frazzle says, Gary and Geraldine Durazio. Would you look, Gary? No, it can't be. Charlie Durazio. Who else do we have out there? We got JB, Jasmine 28, Jason 1978, JCat, John Myatt Lockett, Julian Reverbal, Kelly Broughton, or Piercing Blue Eyes. Good to see you, Kelly. Oh no, what happened to my YouTube chat? It shut down? They're already trying to take me down, folks. They're already trying, but I'm not going to let those trolls get away with that. Let's see, Kelly Broughton, Piercing Blue Eyes. Let's continue with Kenny. We got Kenneth, or Kenny is here, Maritime, Megan, Michael, Mr. X, Mr. Joey B, Mr. Catfish 2100. I know you're not here yet, but you will be showing up shortly. We got also Nancy K, Necessary Dialogue. Niles Guy is here. Watch out, trolls. He's our resident pit bull, and he's got your ass on his teeth, so watch out. Actually, your ass on his teeth. There we go. Paul DeMond's here along with Rainbow, Rodney, Rough Reddy, Sam, Shelley Montgomery, Super Unknown, Tom Whitmore. We've got Twin Case Land Cruiser. Ooh, sounds like a good one. Keep them locked, my friend, and loaded. Two Midgets on a Horse from northern Idaho. We got UT Smoke, Vern Dude, and Wee Beastie. And how about that? We got there right before it happens as the clouds from the bong clears the garage. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing well. We have another Friday night episode. I think there's a lot to cover for this past week. So this is going to be one hell of a show tonight, Thomas.
Yes, we've been busy, my friend.
I know.
Since our last episode of Disclosure Tonight, we had an impromptu. We jumped into a Twitter sphere spaces on Tuesday night, I believe it was.
Yep.
And from Reverend Darren Reed.
Yep.
That was a good one. And then,
it was.
Wait a minute. No, it was before then because Reverend Darren Reed came on the show and talked about it on Monday.
Yeah,
either way.
It must have been on the weekend. It was on the weekend.
That was on the weekend, that's right. But then, as of yesterday, we did have another Spaces on X, just titled Disclosure Tonight. It had a lot of people showing up, interesting conversation. But, Mike, the reason we're having to get out there and spread ourselves across multiple media formats is because the place on Twitter has been dominated by trolls, and they've been attacking Elizondo. And last night, even so, along with the help of the putz named Elizondo Rojas, who was part of Enigma Labs, you know, that government, not really government, but government-funded UAP research organization, where he threw Lou and Jennifer under the bus again, which is just, it's terrible because the conversation goes on, Lou and Jennifer don't respond, so what comes out of it is dialogue that becomes accepted because nobody challenges it. And what happened? I reached out to Jennifer Elizondo last night. And I got a clear answer on that. And we basically sent her a link to the overall post saying, where is this at? Where Alejandro Rojas was going ahead and accusing Lou Elizondo and his wife of being the account of, I believe it was Countermundi, whatever it was, which is also someone by the name of Richard Butt, which we knew was a former intelligence or an intelligence community official who did not live in the continental United States. I'll leave it at that, Mike. And they were just trying to blame it on her and Lou for literally going ahead and having these alt accounts and going ahead and attacking people. Now, Jennifer came back to it really nicely, and I put out, oh shit, where the hell did that go? There we go, up to that monitor. Let's bring it in. She had a really great response to this. oh yeah, Rojas is in the wrong here. He was never told. We never told him that. We know who Countermundi is. It's not Lou, and it's not Jennifer. Now, Alejandro Rojas has been blocked. He's been nothing but nice. Lou has been nothing but nice to him and his wife. Sorry you're having issues. That's why Lou is off on X, because I got completely doxxed out there and stuff. And coming on after that, Jennifer says, and for the record, again, Lou is not Countermundi. And more importantly, Mike, they can go fuck themselves. That can be quoted.
Absolutely. She's 100% correct on that. Unfounded allegations, lies, not a shred of evidence to back any of those claims up. Yeah, I agree with her. They can definitely go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Oh, completely.
But this is the shit that goes on that we're fighting against.
It's going on, Mike, and it's not slowing down. But, we're starting to see a different kind of a response coming on X from the people who are listening to now that they're actually getting the truth of what's going on. And people are questioning these two schmucks who are going out there. I guess it's Sam and Josh, right? Who are going out there and spreading these lies about us and the Elizondos and you and me and everything. But in coordination with someone who used to be involved with the show, Lee McMorris, or Maurice, or however you say that name. He's had a really big mouth on his side, but he opens it, he puts his foot in, and he just sets him up. He sets himself up for even more a bigger mess that he could get himself into.
Which, when he was here on the show as an audience member, not a co-host, not a producer, like he claimed.
Just making that clear. Lee and Swan anyone who watches this show has been here for a long time, know that Lee and Swan were part of You Were Calling. I mean, Mike, you were even initially part of You Were Calling at one time.
Oh, I was. Absolutely. You and I talked privately about the Viewer Calling before it began. So, yeah, I was definitely part of the Viewer Calling when it started.
Yeah. Yeah. You were there, and you were even there when, what was it? That one guy who was involved with kids across state lines from Missouri, from UAPX, that got brought to our attention by, who was it? David Altman. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That was a big thing back then, because they were turning a blind eye to who they had brought on. And David Altman came on to talk to you and me about it.
Right.
If you remember, which we did.
Oh, yeah, we did. And you have, now I've got a statement here I want to read that I've put out on X.
Okay.
About you, because we talked about this as I was going to some funeral services for my father-in-law yesterday, which we've got to do again Sunday and Monday, and then more stuff down the road. And this is the statement we came up with about Mike. Since Mike's retirement from the NYPD in the early 2000s, Mike Disclosure has not had access to any database or information system available during your career. With that being said, like Ross, as an investigative journalist, Mike, you have confidential sources that can sometimes give you an answer and give you insight into something.
That can share information that they themselves are aware of, like any other investigative journalist out there.
Yeah.
And yes, I have, since I've been retired and working as an investigative journalist, I have access to those sources and that information.
Right. Now, if you remember, this kind of goes along with the whole thing back in the day when Lee was around. This is after he had thrown out a couple $100 super chats to get my attention. And he had came into a big sum of money and stuff. But he was boasting and bragging about his wife, who's an attorney for the courts of somewhere down in Texas, that she had access to these databases that he could actually find out factual information about people. Now, one thing that I haven't put out there yet, Mike, he had a phone call with me when he had also followed up with me personally about it. He revealed information about me that I think the only way he could have found it is if he actually did a background check on it. So it was kind of him boasting, see, I have access to all this stuff, and that's a fact. And you know how like Lee likes to say that's a fact. And then he went on to go ahead and spew information about me. And I just had a question. It's like, okay, maybe he does have, but he was like, if you need to find out anything about anybody, I can find it. Which was almost seems someone who's not just saying, I'm saying things about it. He was almost like volunteering us if we wanted to go ahead and look at people. Now, look at people. And the stupidest thing is he is claiming, and other people were claiming, that Lou Elizondo, in coordination with us, leveraged Lee's wife, who's a member of the courts in the state of Texas, to go ahead and dox David Grush. But they just didn't stop there. And then the story also went to Lou, through you and me, went and demanded that Lee, or was it not Lee, but it was demanded that Swan go ahead and dox David Grush's records from the VA. The VA, again, David Grush is a friend of Lou. He's someone who Lou asked for us to help take care of. It's someone who both Lou and David asked me to go ahead and keep an eye out there for him if his name pops up in any of the social medias, to let him know, because it'd be important, because he was in fear of being, revealed before his time, which he was, unfortunately, though, by Lou Elizondo's attorney, Danny Sheehan, on several podcasts. The first one starting with Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, which we watched live. We watched it during the show, and I was like, oh, shit. And is that him? Because I remember the initials, DCG. David
he also mentioned
something Grush.
Colonel Colnell.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Both people were revealed at the same time. So,
right.
Again, different shit being thrown at us. But again, these claims and everything that are coming at us, Mike, are coming from someone who's openly admitted to lying on X about Lou Elizondo. More importantly, from two people who have influenced Lee and others, as well as going and, covering information after it's already been, if you want to call it, stated
released.
That it was false, that they lied, but they're still covering it like on the first case, which it might be in with their rights to do it, but it's a negative spin cycle that's been going against Lou. It's been going against people. You've got people out there who have openly said a couple days ago they don't support Lou, like Pavel from Psychoactivio. He said He doesn't support Lou. He doesn't want to be any part of it. But I have to say, though, he doesn't support Lou, but he completely stands behind Hami Musan, which is just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Not credible.
No, not at all.
Right.
So there's been a lot of shit going on that we've been involved in. It's been taking on a lot of time. But the thing is, we've always been a supporter of Lou here at Disclosure Tonight, ever since we started up. I saw Lou getting bullied and things going on, and I was like, bullshit. I'm not going to let someone who I respect and is someone who's putting their freaking neck on the line go ahead and be attacked by these nameless trolls. And even, oh my God, they're even saying today earlier that, what was it? I'm afraid that I'm not suicidal. Like he thinks he's going to, like we're going to go ahead and take him out because we have that ability. Is the guy fucking crazy or something? Do you think he might actually go ahead and do that? To go ahead and try and prove a point and actually fake that kind of a thing? It
sounds like a cry for help to me. Could have some mental health issues.
Yeah.
We know a lot of these people have mental health issues, likely, like the trolls. That's why they behave and do the things that they do. But we have been pushing to get the truth out to the audience and to the public, so they know what's real and what isn't. And they really need to get some, I believe, good mental health.
Yeah. Now, again, we talked about this earlier today, and, suicide is not a joke. But,
no.
back when you were a cop, you've seen your fill of suicides back in the day. And it's unfortunate victims of people who are too stupid to notice that they were in a point where they needed help. Now, it's good that Tupa actually asked for help on that one because perhaps he hasn't realized that trolling rots one's brain, clouds your judgment, and brings mental health down to zero. You know how these trolls go, Mike. We see it time and time again. They just spiral out on a regular basis. And you back in the day, you've seen a lot of this shit because most of the victims you dealt with were probably looking for the release that he's talking about, and you'll never unsee what happens. Whether they turned out, whether the unfortunate person turned on the gas in the oven to blow out the pilot light, or they stepped into the street without paying attention and got hit by a bus, or perhaps they stepped off a nearby bridge to where they live into a frigid racing river on its way to dump into the ocean. And some people have even, put a straight razor to use, not shaving, but to cut their jugular. And that was a huge mess that you've had to deal with countless times.
Oh, many times, especially around the holidays, believe it or not. When we get to the end of the year, wintertime, people are not going outside as much. They have family issues, depression, mental health issues. That's when I saw a lot of those cases, more so than the rest of the year. And we happen to be heading into that time of year again now.
Yeah. And people who have these accounts, I mean, he even came out today and said that you're organizing a group of people on X to go ahead and get his account shut down.
Right. Right. Which is not a true statement.
No.
You and I are just trying to put the truth out there and do our jobs of covering the news and disclosure and focusing on that. So these people have mental health issues, obviously. And we're just trying to shine a light on all of the bullshit. And
right.
If they are having people out there that are not happy with their behavior or what they've done to other people as well, innocent victims, then they have a right to try to push back against it. So that's up to them, though.
Yeah.
We're not involved with other people's actions or what they do. The internet is a big place. A lot of people are on it, and they could do what they feel is right for themselves.
Yeah. And I want to put out there, too, that I was doxxed with a video that was put up by Chupacabra earlier in the week. I know he went, Mike, and he took it down, but guess what? We have copies of the video he posted, which was unique. We have copy of the tweet he put it up there. So, there's some things that they just got to be careful of because, they've crossed the line countless times. And people are saying, oh my God, are you going to be suing Red Panda Koala and Tupa? Well,
not everything is always a matter of a lawsuit.
Well, no, Mike, not everything is civil. There are things that have been taken on that are criminal.
Right.
Under Washington state law.
Correct. And they will be prosecuted.
Yeah.
So you do stupid things and it can bite you in the ass.
You
now,
fuck around, you find out, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. You would think they would know better at this point, but I guess obviously they don't. So they're going to find out the hard way.
Yeah. That's beyond
their
fact,
choice.
my friend.
Yep.
Not that we want to be there again, but it's just some place that we've been taken, whether we like it or not. And we have to respond to it. And our audience, I'm sure most everyone out there supports Lou. And there's some people who question Lou for what's going on. But, Mike, I think on the big, broad brushstrokes of stuff, I think he's trying to find out the information we all deserve. And everyone wants to throw him under the bus for here or there. But you know what? At least he's trying,
Look, love him, hate him, it really doesn't matter. The truth of the matter is that Lou was the one who in 2017 brought the truth out from the government side of things of what they were hiding. The New York Times article, the 3 videos that are now public domain that everybody has seen. Lou is responsible for that. Nobody else.
Yeah. About the age of disclosure, Chupacabra. Hello, Sam Lindell. Is it Lindell? Sam
Anderson.
Anderson, yes.
Oh, no, Sam Lingle and
Lingle,
Josh
yeah,
Anderson.
it's Sam Lingle. There we go. The age of disclosure is an op propaganda designed to convince Americans to provide amnesty for war criminals. Mike, we are completely behind disclosure, but you know what? I think we can universally say fuck amnesty for the people who have been committing these crimes against the people of the United States going back all this time.
Right. Well, murder is a capital crime, and there is no statute of limitations on that. So anybody that was involved, for whatever the reason may be, I feel should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, as you do.
Yeah. You know, people have talked about potentially having a short amnesty period where people could bring things forward, and anything beyond that date, you're fucked. You know, maybe something like that could work to a degree, but it depends on how high up they are and what orders they gave. Because someone who is in a position of leadership and they're giving orders, they have the ability to say no. As much as the people down the pipe, but you just have to look at the people who are coming in through. And I just want to thank everybody for your wonderful donations coming in. Again, it's coming from Charles Kerr, Faze Will, Charles Kerr again, and Gizmo. Thank you very much for all of your love and support of everything we do here at Disclosure tonight. We're here for everybody. We're here for the disclosure movement. We're here for the Elizondos. We all want stuff to come forward, but it's just... there's just a lot of bullshit out there. And I am going to go ahead and turn on the auto chat, Mike. Okay. It makes it a lot easier, but it is a lot more dangerous. So if it goes wrong, well, I'll just have to turn off. Okay, chat, you have my audience. Next comment that comes up.
Attention. Yep.
Got our attention. There we go. We got it.
Excellent.
Yes, B's account didn't get suspended. Got suspended next for giving death threats. Yes, it did. And they're blaming her account going down, saying it's going against her, who's a mother, and going against an ex-veteran just because they're speaking out against Lou. No, if people are going out there and they're saying these things and their accounts are getting shut down. Yes, they've put out an entire site about me, about my family, about everybody. Mike, I want to drop into a little story here because this story wasn't told.
Right.
When I went to the College of DuPage back in Illinois, it was a community college, but we had more students than the largest university in Illinois, which is University of Illinois and Champaign-Urbana at that time. When I came in, I saw, and when I was going to the school, I saw something that was disorganized and not put there for the students. We had a central courtyards that people in wheelchairs couldn't access. The student lounges in between classes were completely overloaded. There were people sitting on the floors in the hallways everywhere, in the cafeteria, in the library. There was no space for it. And I saw it was wrong, and I saw that the agenda of the student government at that time, Mike, was going ahead and focusing on going to the Gaza Strip and a whole bunch of Amnesty International and big things, but it just felt that it was wrong. We need to fix the things in our kitchen before we start worrying about things across the world. And the students at the government at the college wasn't right. So of course I ran a failed run for student government president write-in, and I lost. But then after that happened, I went on and I sat in every single board meeting. I was a student representative on the board. And when the next election came around for directors, I ran, and of course, I won. But after that happened, we fought against the existing administration, who was, if you want to call it like the Democrats, we're more conservative folks. I helped someone run for student college president. He won. And then when the election came up, I ran for student trustee and I won. And my biggest agenda was fixing the problem for the students. We needed a student union. We needed a building that was just for us, the kids who were there going to college. The administration had decked out places. Everything was there, but the students didn't have what they need. And as being on the board of trustees, they put me on the financial committee, which is a lot of the shit was way over my head, right? So go through this stuff, going through it, reading it, going to the meetings back and forth and everything. And one day I'm driving to school early in the morning, and I was like, oh my God. And I pulled the car over to the side of the road, went to my backpack in the back seat of the car, brought it out, went back through it, and just flipped through it until I found the spot. And I uncovered, Michael, $500 million, $500 million that had been brought in from an increase to the student tuition by Jim Belushi. Remember, John Belushi, the guy from what do you call it? Blues Brothers, right?
Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers, yeah.
Right.
When he was there, he actually got a huge increase to the credit hour for kids going to college. And that money all went into a bank account. And I discovered that the then college president, Harold McInich, had gone and siphoned off money, initially $200 million, to go ahead and build an arts center. And then they spend another $200 million to go ahead and build a physical education center. And then they took the money that was left, another $100 million, and they spent it on building a computing center. Not one dime went to the students. So I said, fucking bullshit. And I went to, and I planned out, and I worked with the students, talked with everybody, and I had a campaign and said, screw it. The next building we're going to have is going to be a student center. Now, I go into the president's office at that time, Dr. Harold McInich, and I said, hey, I hear we got in this new building. You're building a planetarium, right? And he brought me over into his office, and he was going and showing me this huge little model that they had that was meticulously created. It was called the McInich Observatory, right? And I said, wow, that's a nice building. And I looked him in the eye and said, it's a shame the students are never going to see it. He's like, what do you mean? I said, the next building you're going to build is going to be a student center. You stole $500 million, $500 million of student funds, and you built the college, good thing. But you took a blank check out of the students, and when all that money was dispersed from the fund, you took it and put it into the general fund. And I called his ass on the table, and I said, I am calling our debt due. I want our student center. He kicked me out of his office at that time. But Mike, what we got a couple years later? We got a student center. That was the next building that they built. It was something that was badly needed for the university. So they want to go ahead and take my little time that I had there. And yes, I had a mouth. And yes, I would talk up against people, and people know who I am today. I'm no different than I am today about supporting Lou Elizondo than I was about supporting students back in the day. Now, that entire chapter, Mike, was completely left out of the doxing that happened, but it's a story that's been crafted to attack me, not support the truth.
Which is why you're speaking out about it now.
Yeah. Oh, and we've been talking about UFOs beforehand. We were talking about the Elizondos and things going on. So the audience is saying, let's get to it. But I just wanted to bring it out because, they have doxed me. They put the stuff out there. But that doxing was promoted by Chupacabra with a special video that was created that's not available anywhere else. And, Mike, it all kind of ties back to it. And it's something the local police officers really love. Just got to say.
Right. But my position on this.
Yeah.
You are not an elected official.
No.
You are not a public person. Everybody's private lives, especially when we were younger, when we were very early on in college, in school, when we were kids, putting that under a microscope and putting it out there publicly is wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody has a right to do that. There are privacy laws that are in effect for a reason, and nobody has a right to dig into a person's private life and expose that and put it out for display.
If you want to jump in the back. Actually, you know what? I didn't put the link in the chat, Mike. My fault. I just realized this. B is out there talking about this stuff. I'm going to put out the link for viewer call-in.
Everybody is welcome to join and say their piece.
Yeah. And I apologize. I didn't put it out there. I was a little bit late getting stuff together. Yeah. Lots of, and B, no one has doxed, harassed, or hacked or threatened your family coming from Lou Elizondo.
No.
I can call that out 100%. There's nothing to hold me account to. She's saying, we will hold you to account. More lies and slander. Well, that's fine. No, we haven't done anything against you, but perhaps, Mike, B is having the same problem like Lear Swan, where you fall out with these people and they turn against you and attack you.
Well, that's true. And there's a lot of people that are out on the internet and have different opinions about things, and can file complaints against your account. It doesn't mean that people are responsible for that. So that's just a simple fact. That's the truth.
If we can help you get to the bottom of who doxed you and different things, B, we're more than happy to help you because, you know, we're victims just as much as you are. Flat out. Yeah. And they talk about this Lou hate crew, the Lou crew or the hate Lou crew, whatever it is. That's just a fabrication coming from Red Panda Koala and Chupacabra on X, where they're trying to go ahead and attack all of us for this stuff. It just doesn't make sense. And B, please jump in the back. We'll be very, you know, this is no different than having a space on X where you can jump in and have part of the conversation. We'll give you the mic to talk about it. And if you don't want to give your name when you jump in through through Google, you can go ahead and bring it in through an incognito tab on your browser. Right. We're here for the community. Doesn't matter where you're at, because, you know, Mike, we've been saying for the longest time, we need to take our differences and throw them away and come together as a community.
Right, because it's supposed to be about disclosure, getting to the truth that we're not alone on this planet and haven't been for a long time, and what the government has been covering up and hiding using our tax dollars. It's not supposed to be about our personal private lives when we were much younger, and that's not open for people to get into and expose. It isn't.
Okay, B said after your show started slandering me, I've been retargeted by your following and there will be repercussions. What? Those horrible tweets you put out, X posts you put out there, accusing me of all these horrible things that have been fabricated by Tupa and stuff? I've never brought one of those tweets up, I don't think, but if I did,
no.
We're not directing anybody to do anything against anybody. Just like when the Tupa crew side of things. We're just out here, but what we're trying to do is get from the people who have convinced you that we're the bad guys. We're not the bad guys. We're actually the good guys. Flat out.
And I'll go one step further. You're making unfounded allegations, B. Why don't you back any of it up with some hard evidence, some real proof?
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, then obviously that should tell you that what you're saying is wrong, if you can't back it up. It's just an opinion at that point, and opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, but it doesn't mean you're right, unless you could substantiate any of the claims that are being made.
Even Tupa was complaining that there were a bunch of people on X today that were directing them to go ahead and deplatform them, or to get Tupa's account in trouble for things that he said. Here's the thing, Mike. If Tupa crossed the line and people are pointing it out to X, guess what?
X
it's not our doing
about it. Right.
It's people who are pissed off with the direction of where disclosure has been led on X. And all we're trying to do, again, is to bring the truth forward.
Targeting individuals is not about disclosure.
No.
It's attacks. It's trolling.
It's trolling, Mike, to go ahead and put people down, to go ahead and build up their credibility with others and pull in horrible people. Okay, so I see what I mean. Evidence here in your chat, Thomas, your slander. Mike, we're not saying slander has revamped, targeted harassment, and making me fear for my family's safety and seeking legal. Well, we haven't done anything against you, B. You've been attacking me personally for some time. And you actually had your YouTube, your X account shut down, I believe, Mike, because she was giving death threats against people, right?
Which is violation of the terms of service.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with us. That was coming from her, not us.
Yeah. If my chat is saying things, well, they're upset. Rightly so. But it's no different from the chat in the comments, if you want to call it, from the trolls who have been lying against us for the longest time. No, there's no slander here. B, we don't know who you are as an individual. All we've been doing is bringing up what's been going on and talking about it generally. But it's the truth. What are we going to do? It's your words that the audience has been reacting to, not what we've been saying. I actually think you're just a lost soul who could with the right assistance or knowledge or just communication in general. Just sounds like you need some friends to talk with, B.
It sounds to me like she has some mental health issues.
Yeah.
And should probably seek professional help.
Well, let's leave it at that. She's actively sitting at dinner with her family, which, Mike, we can go ahead and recognize. B, feel free. We'll be going here for another hour and 15 minutes. Stop in the back. Let's communicate. Let's talk with Mike and I and maybe the audience. And there's no reason we should be fighting against each other. I've never done anything to you. You've said a bunch of nasty stuff about me, but I'm going to go ahead and take it, Mike, as we have someone who's out there who has seen us cast in a false light by people like Tupa and Panda and Panda's Deja Vu 2 account that's out there. Trying to put us out there, these horrible people. No, we're good people. We really are.
Yeah.
You've just been led down the wrong path. I'm more than happy to try and get us there.
But at the same time, as an adult, not a child, you have to be aware of the consequences for your actions. If you're going to make death threats against people, there's going to be consequences for that. You should know better. It's pretty much common sense. People normally don't act like that. If they do, they get deplatformed.
Yeah.
They lose their accounts. It's that simple. And that's coming from X, not from anybody else.
And Mike, you had a post today you were going to put up in response to something from Tupa, and I'm like, Mike, you crossed the line. No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
We're not going to go there.
Right.
Now, granted, I did read an edited version of that, but
yes,
we'll leave it at that because I was able to bring it down, and plus we needed it for today, and we got it. Now, I know people have been complaining we haven't been covering UFO news. Let's get to it, my friend. There's a new trailer coming out, as we've all heard. The Age of Disclosure. It has a release date. It's going to be on Amazon Prime, but it's not going to be on Prime Video, where you have the opportunity to go ahead and just get it for free. The cost,
you gotta pay for it.
The cost that you're going to get this is $24.99 if you want to watch it or own it for that matter. I'll probably end up buying it. Maybe we'll have some viewing sessions for some of our close friends and everything, Mike, because not everybody, especially our friends in the United or Canada, UK or Canada, who are under lots of distress, they may not be able to afford it, but maybe we can do something as a community group to go ahead and enjoy it. What do you think?
Right. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
We could definitely do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
Exactly.
for the back chat. Yeah.
So Miles Guy, they may have renting $4.99 or $9.99, whatever it's going to be. But if it's going to be something like this, it's just a little bit more money to spend, so it's not that much.
Right. Plus, if you join our viewing party, it will cost you $0.
No. Here we go. I've never threatened anyone and can prove it. You saying I made death threats and have mental issues. I didn't say that. Plus, we don't even know who you are, B. It's a name. It's a pseudonym. If you have
accounts with that name on it.
But there were reasons people were talking about on Twitter today that she got taken down for death threats. Was it against Darren or someone like that?
Tio was the one who had reposted it. Yeah.
So we'll find out. I guess if you could go ahead and let us know which post on X that your account was disabled by, that would help us understand. Oh, you saying I made death threats? No, I didn't say that. That's what's been said on X by Tio. So all we're doing is, Mike, all we're doing is reporting on what we're seeing on X. But let's get into this. All right, so let's get away from the drama. I guess apparently she said she was with dinner with her family and she'd get back to us, but she can't get away. But let me just go ahead and get to this little clip here coming about the Age of Disclosure. Here we go, folks. Buckle up.
Strap in.
On play.
We've had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours.
These are otherworldly things that are performing maneuvers that haven't been seen.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
This is so secret. There have been very few people in our entire government that have been allowed or provided access to it.
Even presidents have been operating on a need-to-know basis, but that begins to ramp out of control.
It's not acceptable to have secret parts of government that no one ever sees. People have been hurt protecting and hiding this information.
Some people claim it would cost them their lives if they spoke out about these things.
You had information being locked away that could change the trajectory for a species.
This is the biggest discovery in human history.
Now, Mike, I have to bring this up really quick.
Yeah.
Although that's Lou Elizondo there, standing in front of the Constitution, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And let's go back a little bit more. I believe that's Lou Elizondo. I can tell by his little ball. Sorry, Lou.
Yeah, that's Lou.
I think that's Lou talking with Christopher Mellon in the halls of Congress.
We know Lou, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think that's Lou with a short haircut standing in front of the National Monument.
Right.
Let's go back a little bit more if he's anywhere else in here. That one again. There's Lou there walking down the hallways after the hearing. And then we've got Lou here talking in his setting in someone's nice house. The only thing what we've got going in here that's different, what we've heard about it before, Mike,
yeah,
is that the voice of Lou Elizondo as the narrator is missing.
Right, because we covered this when it did the debut.
Yeah.
And it had Lou in there, and that got changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. It's always something interesting. You know, I guess it's going to be coming our way coming November 21st. They made it before Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving holiday and stuff, Black Friday and Thanksgiving, when a lot of people have times on their hand. And they also made it through before the Christmas holiday. So they got the season right. And I believe they've said, correct me if I'm wrong, that they are going to be pulling off a limited theatrical release, which is something that these guys were pushing for. Right.
Yep, that's correct. And also that they had so many interviews that they were conducting that they wanted to release like the B-side of an album.
Yeah.
They wanted to have Age of Disclosure Part 2. That was going to show the outtakes and the additional interviews that were done.
Oh, kind of like the director's cut that was put out by, who was that again? James Fox for the Varginha, Brazil thing that went on.
That's right. So they already are talking about, after this comes out, there's going to be a follow-up that's going to include all of that extra information.
So Laura Campbell in the chat, I guess she's not in the back, is saying it'll be released in New York, Washington, D.C., and L.A. Too bad it's not going to be in the Seattle area, unfortunately. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Thank you, Avi. We needed that little bit of humor, my friend. Ah. What a day. All right. So we got other things going on in Disclosure Land. Let me see what's happening. Yeah, a lot of conversations going on over at X. It's just been, but you know, it would be nice. Hey, is there anybody in the back that has any questions or thing you want to bring up? And if there's anything in the audience who would like us to talk about certain things, bring it up in full uppercase. We're trying to, I don't have it figured out yet, but Mike, we're going to be we're probably going to be having maybe some additional episodes here on Disclosure tonight, but I'm going to be creating a blend of YouTube live streaming along with X. And I think what we'll end up doing is broadcasting on YouTube, right? But instead of just having the viewer call in here, if I can get it to look right, we'll actually have the
spaces,
the SpaceX, where people can come forward and talk about stuff. And we could actually have people from our back and their back kind of communicating back and forth and be able to create this merged content between a YouTube live stream and a Twitter space, because it's kind of needed. It's two different audiences, but I think, Mike, it's the same message.
It is, and it's a lot of the same people as well. And if you remember, you and I experimented with this like a year and a half ago. Initially.
Yeah.
And it's developed a lot from then to now.
Oh, it has. And we haven't been in it. And because we haven't been in it over on X, it's turned into a complete shit show. And now that we're actually there, sharing some information, letting people know what's going on, right?
Right.
We actually have an opportunity to go and correct it, because you know what? People are hearing our side and they're believing it, because we've just haven't been there to represent what's going on.
Plus, we bring the receipts, we bring the proof that the people that had spoke out initially, that made those false statements, had publicly admitted that what they said was not true. And we bring that out to the public so they know exactly what's really going on, not what's being said that's false.
Yeah. And really quick, Mike, just want to put this out there because I'm putting content out there. B, you're an anonymous person. We don't know who you are. We don't want to know. We don't know where you live, right? So we're talking about your online persona based on the behavior that you've been showing and what's been going on, what people have been saying. And if you think a lawyer is going to say you've got a case on that, well, open up your wallet. It's going to cost you $400 an hour at least, and you're not going to get too far. Oh yeah, B, you were. Oh God, that's right. You came in with Linda Thompson. I could probably go ahead and find your show and talk to you about some stuff. Yes, and again, there's no reason you should be against us. We've never done anything against you. Yet the vitriol and the hatred you've put out there on X, and trust me, we have copies of all the screenshots of all the wonderful things you've said about us. What have we done to you to deserve the horrible shit that you have said? Coming as a dear friend of Linda Thompson, I have to reach out to Linda to find out the scoop on you, to figure out what actually happened, because you used to be a nice person. And I'm not sure where all this hate, Mike, and vitriol could have come from. It's just a shame.
It's coming from the trolls, Thomas.
No.
We know that.
And Lou's big revelation, no, was not about the movie. There's things going on in Washington, D.C. at this point. Right, Mike? There's things going on behind the scenes with the leaders there that are going to get us there.
There are real things going on, not about the documentary.
Right. And my guess, Mike, considering the House of Representatives is out there, right, is out on vacation. They're not going to be coming back till after the 26th. They just said, go home. We'll see you in another week. We'll see where this stuff goes, right?
Yeah, and the government is shut down right now.
Yeah, it's shut down. So what part of the government isn't shut down, Mike?
The military?
No, well, the executive branch.
Right. That's right.
The executive branch.
Yeah. I know.
So if that's the case and where it's potentially coming from, well, then maybe there is something to get excited to, because you know what, Mike? It's been a big downer for a while. We've had a lot of just not happening. Definitely failed, right?
Because it seemed like that early on with this administration. During the campaign, the so-called disclosure president did the opposite when in office, and we've covered that.
Be careful, a poo-poo's coming in.
A lot of disappointment about that. Yeah. But that might be changing soon, hopefully. Yeah. We'll see what Lou is able to do in that regard. We'd like to see something finally come out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, I hear you, my friend.
Well, we've waited this long. We could wait a little while longer. That to me is pretty much
B is a person who she released it to us. She was on the show a long time ago with let me see if I can find that episode, Mike. Give me a second here. Get to studio. And if I search for all the content for the word B,
Isn't that, in fact, her actual real name?
No, this would have been inviting the phenomena. Let's see. We have. Bring this up just for everybody to see. Let's look behind the scenes in Fessler's content. Yeah, I don't delete anything, my friends. Not even close. So let me bring this up here, Mike. All right, here we go. So let me get back to here. Let's bring it up a lot more. We know it's not Cheryl Costa. We know it's not Kelly. I don't think it's this woman, because she was really nice. We had a really fun time on the show. It was, God, what was her name again?
You got to ask Linda. She'll know.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get to the
Linda
bottom.
Thompson was the co-producer at that time, inviting the phenomena. God, I hope it's not this person. And then we had another one. Jesus Christ, come on. Showall. Here we go. Let's get to the results. Come on, where is it at? You'd be kidding me. Filter, title, contains, inviting. What a pain in the ass from YouTube. The interface is not working, Mike. Probably because I'm on Brave browser. Let me see if I can get this back. Let me get out of this browser. Let me get across to Chrome. Let me get to YouTube really quick. Let me get to the back studio. I want to figure out if she was been on the channel. There's nothing wrong with me going ahead and replaying this.
Just
inviting.
Send a text to Linda. That's all. And you'll get to the bottom of it very quickly.
Yeah. I've only got like 5 interviews. And I don't think Jules, Thomas, and myself, that's our first one.
No, that's too far back.
Maybe this, let me find out. Inviting. I've got Mary Joyce, who was on the interviews. I don't think it was Mary Joyce. I'll ask Linda Thompson. She'll know who B is.
She will. So absolutely.
And I don't think I don't think it's Jenny Tyson, because Jenny Tyson and I had a really fun time. I like this background actually, and we were just laughing around, having a good time.
It was the weirdest conversation, and I was like, guys, and
yeah, we're having a good time with Jules. Linda couldn't make it and everything. I don't think that's B, because all I remember, a lot of the great conversations we had back on the show during that day, Mike. Maybe she was on. I'll find it though, and we'll do a replay on it. I promise.
Talk to Linda, and then we'll figure it out.
We will. We'll find. I thought it was the same. I thought the name was a little bit familiar. And if it is, I think I know which one it might be. Yeah, we'll get to that down the road. But Jenny Tyson, one of my most favorite interviews ever. She was a hoot and a half. Really, honestly. Jenny, I hope it's not you. Because I really liked you for what you stood for, my friend. All right, so let's get back to my things over on X. Mike, and one of our next stories we're bringing up is that there has been some information coming forward from the Soul Foundation.
Right. This is a good one.
Coming from Merrick von Rennenkamp. Soul Foundation. Let me just get this one right now. God. We got 2 episodes we can go ahead and play. Let me get a copy, this link address. Let me download this one. Merrick von Rennenkamp, who used to be, what was his background again, Mike?
Oh, he was an analyst for the intelligence community in the government.
As my downloader prepares to bring the video down, I thought it would just be better to have it play from QuickTime, a little bit better control over it from what's going on. It's called Drone Incursions. It's talking about the drones that have been going on. But remember, Mike, the things that have been going on with the drones, has not just been necessarily drones. We've been dealing with stuff that has been drones and both mixed with UAP incursions that have been going on.
Right. Yes. This is going to be interesting from the Soul Foundation.
All right, so let me get this one here. It's not liking it. Oh, hey, there it is. It actually downloaded as I was giving up on it. Open external application. Let's go ahead and bring this up. All right, folks, this is a great video from Merrick von Rennenkamp, a very reputable person coming from a very reputable organization, my friend. So let's get to this one. All right, here we go, folks. Thank you to the Soul Foundation for being a media partner and allowing us to show this great video. Here we go, folks.
Hello and welcome to the October 2025 edition of the Soul Briefing. I'm Marek von Rennenkamp. Over the past several months, we here at the Soul Briefing have covered ongoing incursions by unknown quote-unquote drones, often over particularly sensitive assets and facilities, which have now spanned several years. These incursions have only become increasingly brazen. In late September and early October, in just the latest examples of such activity, unknown objects caused repeated shutdowns of the Copenhagen and Munich international airports. At the same time, unknown objects were observed over critical infrastructure and military bases elsewhere in Germany and in Belgium. Now, while the vast majority of publicly available video footage supposedly depicting these incidents shows misidentified aircraft or stars, Danish, Belgian, and German authorities have confirmed the recent incursions of unknown quote-unquote drones in their airspace. Now, to be clear, on their face, these incidents appear to be a dramatic escalation of Russia's so-called hybrid warfare tactics, which are intended to sow uncertainty and disunity in fear in NATO states amid the ongoing war in Ukraine. Destabilizing Russian activity is certainly a possible, if not likely, explanation for at least some of these mysterious incidents. Now, with that said, in the spirit of analytic rigor and objectivity, we here at the Soul Briefing must note that remarkably brazen incursions by unknown objects over sensitive facilities and assets predate Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine by several years. Perhaps most intriguingly, one particular flight dynamic reported recently in late September during incursions over critical infrastructure in Kiel, Germany, has been observed in previous UAP incidents, to include the 2019 and 2020 mystery, quote-unquote, drone incursions in Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, and Kansas, and yet again, just last year in Wyoming. According to German news outlets, a, quote, drone network with mother drone, end quote, flew over the Kiel University Hospital on September 25th. Later that evening, a, quote, large stationary drone and several small flying objects, end quote, were observed over the Kiel Canal, which hosts a key naval base and several major industrial facilities. Now, from an analytic perspective, this, quote unquote, mothership dynamic is particularly noteworthy and unique. FAA and U.S. Air Force emails obtained by researcher Doug Johnson and published by the War Zone on the widely reported late 2019 and early 2020 quote-unquote drone incidents in Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, and Kansas describe precisely the same dynamics. For example, in an email sent on December 31st, one of the FAA's lead investigators describes how a, quote, Chase County, Nebraska sheriff deputy reported observing 30 to 50 objects, quote, flying independently of each other with a larger mothership hovering for hours, end quote. Similarly, in a January 7th, 2020 email to the same FAA investigator, a Kansas Highway Patrol pilot describes an incident where a fellow Kansas Highway Patrol trooper observed an object that, quote, had a really bright light on it, like a spotlight. That drone stayed relatively stationary at that location, end quote. The trooper then stated that, quote, there were anywhere from 10 to 15 drones that flew all kinds of patterns around that stationary drone, end quote. At one point, one of the objects flew directly above the trooper's house at a height that he estimated to be about 200 feet. But the object made, quote, absolutely no sound at all, even though the wind was calm, end quote. Now, just as a brief aside, the publicly disclosed emails show that witnesses frequently remarked on the surprising lack of noise made by the objects involved in the 2019 and 2020 Great Plains incursions. Now, at the same time, a January 6, 2020 internal Air Force email from Francis E. Warren Air Force Base, which oversees 200 nuclear missile silos and their launch control facilities spread out across vast rural areas of Wyoming, Colorado, and Nebraska, describes an observation of a, quote, swarm of 30, end quote, objects that, quote, were following a mothership, end quote. Notably, and perhaps alarmingly, another Air Force email dated January 2nd, 2020, describes these objects as being, quote, clustered in an area that has quite a few Minuteman missile sites, end quote. These are references to the nuclear missile silos in that area. And loyal Soul Briefing viewers, of course, will recall that the UAP nuclear nexus is a remarkably robust phenomenon. In 2024, just last year and 4 years after the quote-unquote mothership dynamics just described, law enforcement officers in at least 8 Wyoming counties observed large numbers of unknown objects, often flying over critical infrastructure. A spokesman for the Sweetwater County Sheriff's Office described observations of, quote, spoke-like formations with multiple drones branching off from one large central drone, end quote. Sublette County Sheriff Casey Lair similarly stated that his office received reports of, quote, very large drones and, quote, several smaller objects flying in a grid pattern around that singular drone. Are we noticing a trend yet? And that brings us full circle to the recent observations of a, quote, stationary, quote, mother drone surrounded by smaller objects in northern Germany. From our perspective, it strains all credulity to believe that such specific dynamics would be observed across multiple counties, states, and now countries amid incursions by unknown objects purely by chance. However, unfortunately, video or photographic evidence of such flight dynamics is sorely lacking. So to that end, we ask our Soul Briefing viewers to be on the lookout in case they see anything odd in the sky, and especially anything along the lines of what we've discussed here, to capture video and to be sure to note the date, time, and location of their observation. Of course, these intriguing mothership dynamics are only the tip of the mystery, quote-unquote, drone iceberg. As loyal Soul Briefing viewers are well aware, in late 2023, unknown objects flew with complete impunity over Langley Air Force Base in Virginia, nightly for nearly 3 weeks. Langley, it should be noted, is a key air defense facility that houses the Air Force's advanced F-22 fighter. According to the then commander of NORAD, retired General Glenn Van Herk, the objects that flew over Langley Air Force Base were impervious to all jamming efforts. In other words, an unknown actor, terrestrial or otherwise, put on a nightly, nearly 3-week show of dominance over a critical Air Force base that hosts the service's most advanced fighters. And in late 2024, radar at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base tracked up to 17 unknown objects in proximity to the facility, which forced the base, one of the Air Force's largest and most important facilities, to close its airspace. Similarly, brazen incursions by unknown objects, which also resisted all jamming efforts, occurred late last year at multiple U.S. military bases in the UK, including facilities presumed to host U.S. nuclear weapons. And over the course of several months in 2019, unknown objects swarmed Navy ships, often well over 100 miles offshore. The only publicly available video of one of these mystery quote-unquote drones where any kind of structure is discernible shows a spherical object that moves against strong 40-knot winds, highly anomalous in its own right, before descending slowly into the ocean. This intriguing incident, which occurred in close proximity to the USS Omaha in July 2019, is corroborated by radar tracks and footage recorded from the ship's deck. Intriguingly, a similar UAP swarming event occurred the very next day in the same general area, in close proximity to another ship, the USS Paul Hamilton. Just like the USS Omaha incident, sailors aboard the Hamilton observed an object descending or splashing into the ocean. On October 10th, Breaking Defense reported that current NORAD commander, General Greg Guyot, stated that the U.S. government has not established any links between these truly bizarre, brazen incursions over critical military facilities and any foreign governments. Now that, frankly, is quite astounding. It means that an unknown actor has demonstrated and continues to demonstrate the ability to repeatedly violate sensitive airspace, from naval training areas 100 miles off the coast of California to the Air Force's most sensitive facilities with complete and utter impunity. The recent incursions over Europe, and in particular the mothership dynamics observed in northern Germany, which have been seen frequently over the last 6 years, only deepen this years-long mystery. For the third year in a row, Congress has failed to pass the UAP Disclosure Act. This is particularly notable since the legislation, which suggests that a decades-long, quote, legacy program has retrieved UAP of unknown origin and, quote, biological evidence of non-human intelligence, end quote, and is thus arguably the most extraordinary legislation ever formally introduced in Congress, is sponsored by a bipartisan group of high-profile senators, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Mike Rounds, Republican from South Dakota, and Kirsten Gillibrand, Democrat from New York, both of whom sit on both the Senate Armed Services and Intelligence Committees. Now, rest assured that despite this disappointing setback, we here at the Soul Briefing will be keeping a very, very close eye on UAP-related legislative developments in Congress. And finally, we are pleased to announce that the Soul Symposium, the Soul Foundation's signature featuring presentations and discussions from key voices on UAP in government, academia, and science, will be streamed on October 25th and 26th from Baveno, Italy. If you are unable to join us in person, we very much look forward to engaging with you via the streaming option. More information may be found on the Soul Foundation's website, and links are in the description below. Thanks for joining us for this October 2025 edition of the Soul Briefing.
All right, Mike. Let me go ahead and pause this. It's nice to go ahead, as I'm doing some research here to figure out who is which, that we are able to find out what's actually been going on with the Soul Foundation. How do you like their take on the drones? You know, it does sound like that we truly do have a situation where we've got some drones that are actually drones, and some of them are potentially UAP.
Well, I can see his point about the nuclear weapons and the attention with these objects to that.
Yeah.
It is, interesting, but in my opinion, it's still not conclusive. We haven't seen them exhibiting the 5 observables, right?
No, we haven't, have we?
Right. No, we have not.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of missing information before you can jump to a conclusion. And you and I have been saying that since this drone flap began.
Yeah. And Mike, I think I've tracked down potentially who B is. She said she was on the show in the past, which would have made that she was a part of Disclosure Tonight when I had Inviting the Phenomena. We had Disclosure Tonight, and then we had a woman-centric UFO podcast because they never get the right kind of press, and the way it is, it always goes out. Should we bring up the picture of the title card for the show, you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
She's the one who brought it to our attention that she was on the show in the past.
I'm sure she was there with Linda, right?
Yeah, this was with Linda and everybody, but I have a title card for this. Linda wasn't there for this episode, unfortunately. She couldn't make it. It was myself and Jules. Remember Jules, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so here we go. A Lifetime Experiences, UAP Consciousness and Orbs, featuring Beverly Holmes, who is a Cherokee native. Great for her. U.S. Navy veteran, which aligns with what was said on X, and an experiencer. So we're not outing anybody. We're not doxing anybody. But apparently this looks like the person who is B, who has been attacking us during the show because she said she was on our show in the past. So and this is just a title card from the show that the show has that we can go ahead and bring up at any time. And I could bring up and replay her things, but her time was talking about a lifetime experiences of UAP consciousness and orbs. And I believed her at that time what was going on. She had a great story that I can remember. I just don't know where she's fallen off since then.
Spending too much time with
trolls,
Super and RPK, and the troll spaces. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So B for Beverly makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Not that we're not doxing her. She said she was on my show in the past, and as the owner, the person who runs Disclosure Tonight, I can look at the back of all the people that have been on and track it down, because there's a bunch of other people. We all had a great time on Disclosure Tonight back in the day.
Right.
Yeah. And they said the person who was a veteran, which aligns. B, we love you. We've always loved you. I've always liked you. When you were back on the show on the day that I treat you fairly with Julie. We had a good time. We were on for a couple hours talking about this situation. You know? And you attack me back and forth on X. You believe the words of the trolls, say a whole bunch of really nasty stuff about me, and then you come on the show and going after, and all we're doing is reporting on the stuff that's going on X. So, you know, it's drama, friends, but you know what? When there's not a lot of stuff going on she is cute, Alex. I believe that. She was very nice. She had a lot of energy about her. She had a lot of passion about bringing in the truth and what she experienced. And I never questioned her experiences. I never went against anything she said and always supported everything she was trying to bring out, because that's what you do when you're dealing with, Mike, experiencers. You support them because it's always hard to go ahead and talk about the truth. Even me, when I talk about the truth sometimes, and what goes through me, the emotions just come through and it freaking chokes me up.
Right. Well, listen, you extended an open invitation to have Beverly come back on the show. She can go in the back if she wants.
Yeah.
No one is blocking her. No one is attacking her. So it's up to her at this point.
And thank you, Christopher Height. Appreciate it. You know, we all stand together. We all stand together for disclosure. We want the truth. Doesn't matter if it's real or not. Beverly, we want the truth. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. And people are going to say, oh my God, you doxed her. No, Mike, we didn't dox her. She said she was on the show in the past.
Correct.
And when if she's been on the show, all I have to do is look up to all those videos that I didn't delete, folks. They're all there. Every single one of the episodes of Disclosure Tonight. Mike, did you know we're actually at over 1,000?
I actually did know
500
that, yes.
and actually 1,050 episodes of Disclosure Tonight so far.
Yes, you and I have talked privately about that.
I'm just bringing it up for the audience to make sure they know.
No, I got it. They should know how long this has been going on, which is a good thing.
Yeah. I think the first episode that I had was on January 1st, January 5th, 2021. No one's seen this one. I don't think this one's even around. Yeah, it's still around. It's 15 minutes. It was a good one. I was talking about a lot of the different things that were going on, and I think I even talked about Big Mike walking down the stairs and the thing flopping back and forth.
Yeah, that was after the pandemic.
Yeah, it was a year after a year into the pandemic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Right.
Yeah, no
That's
more
right.
B shit. Trust me, Gary. We're beyond that. Yeah, I had a couple streams that I put out on those things, and I did an April 29th, 2021. Is this the one I had it where I was doing the end of the year of disclosure? Let's see if that's there. No, this is just
Told them where they don't want their
Oh, God. We have to look back at some of these old episodes when I actually had still a little bit more hair. But, you know, Mike, when you have thyroid issues and you take levothyroxine, you know what happens to your hair?
Yeah.
It thins out and falls out. Everyone's saying, oh, my God, look at Fessler. He's losing his hair. Come on, I'm 57 fucking years old. What do you expect? I've been on levothyroxine because of exposure to radiation as a young child from the non-human intelligence, and it fucking fried my thyroid. Just saying. I've been on it for way too long, but because the numbers aren't there. Yeah. It has its problems. But you know what? It's okay. All right, what do we have else going on here? Happy Friday, everybody, by the way. Hopefully this is the end of your week. This has been one hell of a week for me. If I didn't say it earlier, my father-in-law passed away on Tuesday night. And it's been a lot of family time, a lot of ceremonies with the monks and everything coming. I'm part of a very large Cambodian family who initially came over from the Pol Pot regime when they had taken over Cambodia, and there was tens of thousands of refugees that came from Cambodia to Thailand and then made their way to the United States. I'm part of that big family. And that's why, Mike, when I saw some people going ahead and attacking Cambodians and saying, hey, you know what? We just have to go ahead and wait when this movie comes out, and some kid in Cambodia is going to go ahead and upload this to some, big sharing site. And I was like, why are you fucking attacking Cambodians? What are you, racist or something? And I got some shit for that, but you know what? I'm part of the family, and I have been for a while.
Right. Yeah.
So it's been a long week for me and a lot of stuff. And if people want to go ahead and attack me, they're going to keep on doing that. Thank you for everyone in the chat for your comments and everything. We try to do what we can here at Disclosure Today. We're here for the audience. I'm not here for me. I'm here for you. And the thing is, just like we're here for you, really, we're also here for Lou. And when they're not just attacking me, they're not just attacking Lou, they are attacking every single one of you out there that supports this situation. And that's why we stand up for this bullshit, Mike.
It is, because we're trying to protect the public and bring out the truth and let them decide for themselves what's right and what isn't and what's going on.
Again, if there's people who are from the Twitter land, you want to jump in the back, have something you want to say, audience, if you have things you want to go ahead and bring up, put it all in uppercase, and we'll do an AMA for myself, for Mike, for anybody to go ahead and make us, because that's one of the things that kind of happens on Twitter a lot more than happens on YouTube. On YouTube, I'm here and I just get to talk all the time, and I'm expected to go ahead and talk. And we've got 19 people in the back right now, Mike, 18 not including you, actually 17 not including me, but actually 19 others. And the great thing about having a back chat is the questions you get. Let's go ahead and take this into another direction. So I want to go ahead and ask our wonderful back chat, what kind of questions do you have? What do you guys want to talk about? What do you see in Disclosure that lights your lights up, my friends? Syrup, take it, my friend.
On X, the spaces, they only allow up to 10 people to speak.
Oh, God.
At a time.
We have 21 people in the back right now.
I know. That's
so if people want to jump in the back and have a conversation like we do over on X, Kron is back. Woohoo! People have been asking about Kron for months. But before we get to that, Kron, we love you that you're back. Syrup and UFO Report have their hands raised first, and then we're going to jump to Kron. Go ahead, my friends. Syrup?
I'm sure you probably covered this on one of your previous shows because when you made the statement, but what do you think about the supposed archaeological digs or finds of the Tic Tac, and they've been here for a long time. Do you think there's some truth to that?
Hasn't Lou talked about this for a while in his little breadcrumbs that he leaves along the way? What would happen is if you go down to the pyramids, you run into something that's a 747, but it's an ancient pyramids from thousands of years ago, right? Oh, and Kron left. Kron, come back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it does align with where we've been. What do you think, Syrup?
I don't know what to think, man. What about Jay Stratton? Do you think they're going to get Jay Stratton into has he already been inside of a skiff to kind of, because he apparently he's a first-hand witness to this stuff, right? He
said we saw in the trailer for the Age of Disclosure that he said he's seen craft and he's seen bodies. Right?
I feel like he could guide Luna and them in the right direction, but I wonder if they tried to get him in the skiff, or if it's already happened and we don't know it, or what.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, the stuff about Jay Stratton, I'm not sure where it fell apart between Jay and Lou, because back in 2021, when we were dealing with Lou, he mentioned Jay, said Jay was going to come forward. Things were going to go on. Potentially we're going to see Lou testifying with Jay next to him. And I'm not sure where the fallout happened. Honestly, what we have heard, Mike, if I remember, a lot of negative stuff came through Jay Stratton's wife, which maybe have a more of a realistic view of what's going on, right? Because Michelle is involved in the pillow talk of the conversation, hearing Jay vent on these things, and she's going to be the voice to go ahead and bring forward those concerns. Jay's a lot more reserved, but his wife was a lot more virulent, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. But we don't know what's true or not. So you have to take statements like the ones that she made with a grain of salt, Thomas.
Right. But, there's a grounding into what she had said. But either way, Jay Stratton never came forward with Lou. They never testified together. There was some things that came forward with Jay Stratton with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp in Vegas at one time. But we haven't heard hide nor hair, except that he's got another book deal. Come on, got to buy the book, my friends. Got to buy it, get it signed. And Mike, not only is there going to be a book, but what goes along with the book?
Oh, a tour.
A tour, exactly. You're going to get a chance to go ahead and see Jay Stratton personally and hear his stories. Probably the same way we heard with Lou. So everyone wants to get their little bit of fame that goes into it. It is what it is.
It's true. Yeah. And when he's on that tour, we may get him on the show.
Well, that'd be nice.
We'll see. Yeah, it would be.
If we can, we can. If we can, we'll just deal with it like we deal with everything else. I mean, I think we're one of the longest standing UFO shows that are out there who hasn't folded their deck of cards and cashed in their chips and went home.
Oh, the ones that survived. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And everyone thought we would have been gone by now.
Oh, absolutely.
Fuck you, assholes. We ain't going anywhere.
No.
Especially you, Manny 503. I've got your number. Let's just say that.
Lou said that when he popped up on the show recently.
Yeah.
He said, we're not going anywhere. We've been around a long time, and the audience depends on us to bring them the truth. He's right. Yeah. And that will continue, regardless. Yeah. Makes sense.
I've got to check. We've been tagged for doxing B yet on but we didn't dox B. No. She doxed herself, Mike.
But she pointed out that she was a guest on the show.
Yeah. And after we brought her a picture, she vanished. Hello, B. I've never been mean to you. Honestly. I've always been nice to you. And your attacks on me were unwarranted. If you don't believe me, go talk to Mama Linda. She'll set you up right. Unless you don't talk with her anymore, which I have a feeling if you're hanging out with those trolls, she's probably written you off as well.
Oh, yeah. Linda wants to have nothing to do with those trolls.
Oh, I know. Well, yes, her account on X did go down. She apparently threatened someone, Tio? Tio, if you're out there, where is Tio right now? My God. I'd love to have him on here.
I think he said he was coming on the show.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Most of our friends from X in the spaces had an invite because they were tagged to come in the show. They said they'll be here.
Oh my God, they have the King Milkfart Harassment Archive make strange allusions to RPK and Tupa committing suicide. No, it was actually Tupacabra, right, Mike? Just to be clear, was putting, what did his message say earlier today?
I'm not suicidal.
You're not suicidal. Yeah. So yeah, we covered it.
We did.
Sam, get help. You need it because you may do things that your mind is setting itself to that you may regret at the last minute when it's too late. If you think if you're saying you're not suicidal, go and get some help. We pray for you, my friend, honestly.
Yeah. It's a cry for help. Someone that makes a statement like that.
Well, it's a cry for help when that kind of a person go ahead and doxes me and puts posts up on X that expose a lot of the horrible information about me that came from a video that only was not anywhere else, that came from Annie 503. It's a conspiracy, Mike, across state lines. Remember, Sam is in Vancouver, Washington, and Manny, also known as Dame Lackaff, is in Portland, Oregon. So they're conspiring and working it together to attack me and my family.
Which is over state lines, which is not a good thing. Thomas.
Which then takes it and puts it as a federal offense. Especially that picture that Tupa put out there and he deleted. Why would Tupa go and delete tweets if he wasn't afraid about what he said, Mike?
Because he probably realized it was a mistake, or somebody told him it was a potentially fatal mistake.
Yeah.
So he tried to cover his ass, and he deleted it.
Oh, yeah. And thank you.
Because we already have it, so it's not going anywhere.
No, it's not going to go anywhere, my friends. But we have to have fun with it. Absolutely. Let me go ahead and take a look what else I have going on my bookmarks besides all these messages I'm getting from people. Now, Kron said he was going to try and fix his audio and video, and he was going to jump back in. So hopefully Kron will come around, Mike. He just has a following. I guess people liked his icon and they liked his voice.
Well, he's using the voice changer and all the special effects. People like that. So, yeah, he's welcome anytime.
And Mike, I have to put this up really quick. Tupacabra is coming out and saying, I'm not suicidal. Well,
that's what he said.
That's what he said it again, Mike, 21 minutes ago. And I'm saying, Sam, please
get some
seek
mental health help.
The help of a professional ASAP. Call 911 if
you're having a crisis
necessary before you make the wrong steps. We care about everyone. Sam, please get help.
Yeah, but don't hurt yourself.
Yeah. We would never go ahead and hurt a person. These people saying, oh my God, Mike, you could go ahead and take us out. They're fucking crazy, honestly.
Delusional. They're building conspiracy theories.
Fucking Looney Tunes. Without Yosemite Sam and Foghorn Leghorn and the Tasmanian Devil and Bugs Bunny combined.
That's why they need to seek professional mental health help. Get help. Yeah. It's the only thing that you can do that would.
Oh my gosh!
Better.
Look, Mike, they've got a video. They've got a space going up on X for B is best. Well, he's fine, but she won't be able to join with her regular account because she's been suspended.
Deplatformed, yeah.
Deplatformed. Oh, like potentially Tupacabra and will happen to Sam, but when their accounts go away, Mike, they're never going to come back, are they?
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
No.
They already have extra accounts that they had on the side.
Yeah.
They create new ones like you and I change our socks.
Yeah.
That's how they get around the terms of service.
time and time again. Let's see what's going on. So, we got Merrick von Renningham covered. We covered that one. We've got Chris Ramsey, nothing happening there. Oh, Average Chris talking about wonderful Anna-Polina Luna. We've got the Age of Disclosure. I think we've been covering. Oh, there we are again. Why is Lou Elizondo's favorite show and NYPD's friend listing various ways I could commit suicide on a live stream? No, we didn't, Mike. This wasn't about Red Panda. This was specifically about Sam's reach out saying, what was it again?
That he's not suicidal.
He's not suicidal. But Mike, you were talking about this coming from your experience in the NYPD, where you saw plenty of blood, plenty of flattened people, plenty of people who have made the mistakes of committing suicide. And there's nothing wrong in talking about your experience, is there?
No.
So they're going to say we're saying that's what's going to happen. No, we're saying what can happen, what you've experienced. And you know what? I'd say 99.9% of the people out there would not want to have experienced what Mike walked into as a beat cop time and time again. It was horrible. It was a travesty. It was a bloodbath, for that matter, but personal. But you can't get away from it, Mike. You'll never forget it.
No. Especially now, again, during the time of the holidays. This is when people usually sink to their lowest.
Yeah.
And these occurrences are more frequent and more often around this time of the year.
And it's got to hit you hard to think about this, of what you went through, what you remembered about the holidays, because I can hear it in your voice, Mike. It weighs on you still through today.
Well, there's certain things that once you're exposed to it, you never forget it, Thomas. You can't. There are things that, just get burned into your memory.
Yeah.
Now, I could tell you that there were instances where people were writing out suicide notes, and they weren't even sure when they were writing the note out if they wanted to do it or not. And they weren't careful, and they followed through accidentally with it, that they weren't even sure they wanted to do it, and they ended up dying as a result of that.
Yeah. And that's why when you see someone who's saying, I'm not suicidal, they think it's a joke. Oh my God, like I'm a whistleblower, like I'm not suicidal, like someone from Boeing is going to come and kill me. There's no one associated with us who would ever do that. So all they're doing, as Sam would say, hopefully it's not the same Sam, is attention seeking, Mike. They're trying to defame us and hurt us with their own stupid statements and trying to say, I'm afraid of what's going on. Well, maybe, Mike, they should have been more careful about what they've talked about.
That's right. About the trolling, about the cyberbullying and harassment of innocent victims on internet, on social media. They had no regard for those people or the harm that they put out there for no reason. The doxing that they did of your personal private life and your family, who are not public figures and have nothing to do with any of this, putting that all out there, that's really criminal.
Yeah.
And they had no regard at that time.
I want to bring this up, Mike, from Fly Ether. He says the community needs to continue speaking out against these criminals, meaning us. And I hope Tupacabra, Red Panda Koala stay in close contact with Eric Burleson. And I hope they do too, because Ivan Hanel is going to be in contact with Eric Burleson, and he's planning on letting them know what these trolls are clearly about. And what tweet are they talking about? Lou Elizondo's Fab Club campaign to get me and Tupa shut down with false reports, supercut. No. Whatever they've done, Mike, they're going to have to pay the price. It's not about Lou. It's not about us. It's about the community and what the community decides what they're going to go ahead and do. Am I right?
And the platforms like YouTube, Google, and X, they decide if the terms of service have been violated and if they're going to deplatform these accounts. That's up to them, not us.
Yeah.
We don't run these social media platforms.
I mean, they come out and Gina's here. They've been coming out and saying the whole thing that happened with Lou Elizondo coming on the show, from my perspective, was completely scripted, which it wasn't. It was like every single thing possibly falling in line before it happened, and there's no way that we had ever anticipated what was going on. We usually don't talk about the shit going on Twitter, but we had to, considering how bad it had gotten against Lou.
That's true. And also the same thing when Lou was recently on his speaking tour and he stopped to give us a shout out. We had no idea he was going to do it. It was a nice surprise.
It was a very nice surprise.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice of Gene to go ahead and interrupt us, but it was just like the perfect storm. And that's where I was like, oh my God, it's freaking Lou Elizondo. I'm putting my arms back and forth because I'm excited not just for me, Mike, I'm excited for the community. Because after all the beatdowns that we've got with the NDAA and everything failing, we all deserved some good information, didn't we?
We do.
Even Kelly
really
Burrow, a true blue Democrat that I absolutely love, could give her the biggest hug ever. It was great. It was. There's no party lines here in Disclosure, Mike. We're all in it for the same goal, to bring out the truth.
That's right.
Flat
it's
out.
Bipartisan.
Yeah.
That's absolutely correct.
Oh, what else do we've got here?
We have a hand up. UFO is waiting to speak.
Go for it, my friend. UFO?
Howdy, guys. Hey, few things. Some of the viewers may not realize, especially because of the trolls, it takes somebody like Lou or other folks that are on your show, I won't point anybody out, in order to get into their position. For example, Lou, who still contracts for the government, they can't be suicidal because, for one thing, they wouldn't have clearance. You go through, there's, which a lot of viewers may not realize, to get access, like, people say skiff and they spell it like SKIFF, like one of those rafts that you float along and with it. So people don't really understand a lot.
Not an SCIF, right?
That's right. They do SKIFF, like you're floating along and, with an oar. And, but the thing is, between that and, the type of work that Lou and his colleagues do, requires a clearance, and that's not simply fill out some paperwork. I mean, if you want to talk about the men in black that not only speak to you but watch you and stuff. So someone who is suicidal or someone who betrays their country or somebody who's corrupt in any way loses their clearance. That's how the United States operates, and it's just amazing how many. How many people don't realize that, and they do buy in to the troll stuff. That was the point I wanted to make.
Yeah, good point, my friend. I mean, I've exposed the old Chevy Suburban in front of my house at 2:45 in the morning with two people in black fatigues surveilling my house. I've caught that before, but if I ever gone and said, "Oh my God, I'm not going to commit suicide," no, I would know I'm not going to commit suicide. But I know that I'm, when you have that kind of surveillance going over you, you're over the target, and you have to keep it going.
Yeah, that's what Lou said when he came on recently on the show. He told us that.
Yep. Jay Albertson has his hand up as well. Next, Jay.
Yeah, I was going to say that UFO report's exactly right. When you're in the military and you're going through security backgrounds and you actually have that security clearance, you are scrutinized, everything about your background. I mean, when I had mine, they went all the way back to my kindergarten teacher and talked to her. It was really in depth, and they make sure that you're going to be a loyal person to hold that kind of material.
Yeah, that's true. The same thing is true for law enforcement.
Yeah,
when they do background checks, and we also have our versions of clearances in law enforcement. And they will even talk to your neighbors, not just your family or people you work with.
Mike, I want to go ahead and document this for the community as a whole. This is something that popped up earlier today at my time, 5 p.m., coming from King Milford Harassment Archive, which is Red Panda Koala. He's basically going out there and saying Swan is trying to keep it together, admits his attempted walk back of being ordered to dox David Grush by Lou Elizondo and personal friends, LMAO. Now, Red Panda Koala knows 100% this is a fucking lie, but he keeps on putting it out there and spreading it because they influenced Swan to go ahead and say this stuff. You know, we've heard from Swan recently. This is a lie. It's not truth, but they keep on spreading these falsities out there that Lou Elizondo, his friends, me, you, and Mike, were being ordered to dox David Grush, which makes absolutely no fucking sense. But they keep on retweeting this nonsense out there time and time again, attacking poor Swan, who's just trying to have a job and get through stuff, from the lies that came from Lee McMorris about what was going on, and they keep on throwing it under their bus, and they don't stop. And their goal is to get Swan fired from his current job, if possible. Not going after Lee, who's been known. Mike, have you heard him on his when he's been on recently? He's been sound like he's been drinking heavily again.
Well, he's fallen off the wagon for a long time now. I don't think he ever got back on it.
No, he hasn't.
Right. He's someone else that also needs to seek professional help to try to make himself.
Well, but you know, they talk about people with mental issues. Lee, we love you, but please seek the help of a licensed medical professional to help you ground yourself, because we are worried about you as friends. You've gone on down a deep path. You were going through a divorce. You said that you were going to go ahead and pay off everything for the house to be, you know, if you want to call it, rebuilt, because your wife has the full rights to it as part of the divorce. Anyway, you're going through a hard time. Anytime you go through a divorce, it's never easy, Mike, is it?
No.
Especially when you're divorcing an attorney.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So Lee McMorris, we really, really look out for you, and we are worried about you. You've gone down this path of trying to go ahead and attack people that used to be your friends, but please seek help, my friend. We really care for you, honestly. Please seek the help of a decent mental health professional, because you always say it's a fact, but I think it's a fact that you need help, Mike.
It's true. That's absolutely true. And even the trolls that are potentially reaching out for help and could be suicidal, they need to seek professional help as well.
Oh, they do, Mike.
I know.
They absolutely do.
It's a serious thing.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Unfortunately, that's true. But there are a lot of people out there that have serious mental health problems, and if they don't address it or deal with it, something unfortunate and tragic could happen.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's an interesting situation, but happy freaking Friday, everybody. Did you have a good week? Was your week better than mine? Did your father-in-law, who was part of your close family, not pass away? Did you have a good time? Are you glad that you don't have to go to fucking work tomorrow and get up early in the morning to get there? I would hope so. Are you happy that you don't have your bathroom torn apart by a contractor who sucks fucking eggs like Mike Disclosure? Oh yeah, we'll have it done in 3 days. 3 fucking weeks later, wife yelling, going crazy. It's not done yet, is it, Mike?
No, it's still not, Thomas. You're right.
No, it isn't.
It's very frustrating. Yeah. It's part of Fuck You Friday.
Yeah.
That adds to that.
Oh, but we gotta love it. Yes, Mike, we all do have lives and everything that goes along with it. But I can be happy to say that Mocha did not shit herself and cover herself with piss going to the funeral and stuff, because we actually brought her with in the car. I wasn't going to risk that one at this time.
Yeah,
There's nothing like coming home
good.
from a situation like that and finding a dog that you have to give a fucking shower to and bath to and clean up and deal with the house. My God.
Right. That's right. No, you handled it the right way. We talked about that.
That's about all we can do sometimes, my friend. So come on. We got
know.
17 people in the back. There's got to be someone who's got a question about somebody, even Nick. Come on, somebody. Raise your hand. Say something. reach out. Alice W., go ahead. Mike, I'll be right back. Go ahead. Alice, thank you for raising your hand.
Hi, Thomas. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Alice.
Hi. Two things struck me when you were just talking about people with mental illness and stuff. Do you think that more people in these groups that we're in, the UFOs, esoteric, have mental illness than the general population? Is there any way that you would know anything like that? And then I'm also interested in your view about the 3-1 Atlas at this point.
Well, as far as the groups on social media, they tend to be more focused and fixated on conspiracy theories and creating new conspiracy theories and targeting people with those conspiracy theories. That, to me, is, with my experience, is an indication of people who have different types of mental health issues that they are either aware of or not. And it kind of expresses where they're coming from. And a lot of those people, they are isolated. They're on the internet practically 24/7. They don't have much of a real life or a family life like me and Thomas and Lou,
Charles,
who are family
thank you
people
for super chats, Charles.
with families. And these people who are in these groups that are trolling are usually people who are very alone in the real world, and they take out whatever their frustrations are on social media against people who are there to get information on disclosure and find more out about what they're curious about. And sometimes they fall victim to some of these groups. So I would have to say, based on that, the percentage within groups like that are probably significantly higher than that of the average population, the public in general.
Because if anybody really knew you two, they would know you're not out to hurt anybody.
No, we're not.
That's so obvious.
We're here for the community. We're here for you, Alice. We're here for our audience. We're here for the people who want disclosure.
Right.
I believe it.
Oh, and like I just pointed out, Alice, Thomas and myself and Lou Elizondo, we are devout family people. We are not just trolls sitting behind a keyboard morning, noon, and night. We have real lives, real families, real people that care about us and that we care about. And that's what separates normal people from the people who are obsessed and conspiracy organized on social media, because they don't have a real life. That's all they have. They live for that.
Yeah, it can get mixed up in their head, I think. Hey, Mike, I wanted to ask you also from the other day, what other big interests do you have besides disclosure? What else are you into?
That's good question, Alice. Like I said, because I have a family and I have children, I'm usually dealing with their interests, their school, what they're focusing on, going out to culture events like the zoo, the aquarium, libraries, shows, amusement parks. Usually during the summer, we take time to go to various amusement parks, and they go to the water kingdom. They go to the amusement parks. There's even one in New Jersey that has a safari where you can interact with wildlife. It's a great adventure, wild safari.
I grew up in Bucks County, PA, so I know about like the Camden Aquarium, and I spent a lot of time in that general area.
Oh, well, this summer we were over in Dorney Park. So
wow, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have, outside of the show and disclosure and the work that Thomas and I do behind the scenes, aside from that, it's usually family-oriented and family-focused. Between that and our pets, because we also have a lot of pets at home, Thomas and myself, and Lou. Lou has, what is it, Thomas? 4 or 5 German Shepherds?
5.
Oh, wow.
They had to get rid of one of them because it attacked Jennifer.
Oh.
Yeah. Because they were fighting together, she tried to break them apart, and they were getting fought, and she wound up in between them and ended up going to the hospital getting stitches and everything else. But sometimes when you have German Shepherds who are brought up in the wrong way, they may be just a little bit more edgier than they need to. But sometimes, even this happened to Rob Heatherly, you have to step between them before they kill themselves if you care about them.
Yeah, I know. It's scary. I've been in there. I've been bit once about 2 years ago now, after 10 years of watching dogs, all the time. I finally was bit just breaking up a fight. And it does hurt, even from a little dog. And how about three-eye atlas? What are you guys thinking about that? Nothing? I don't hear you talking about it.
I just want to add one quick thing about what you were just discussing about the dogs fighting. In my experience, the best way to handle that is usually with a garden hose, water. And I know that because I can tell you that the same thing works when people are out of control and can't stop themselves. They usually get hosed down, and it completely subsides the situation pretty goddamn quickly.
Puts out the fire, huh?
Oh, yeah. It puts out the fire burning within very, very quickly. That's what I wanted to say. As far as Three-Eye Atlas, well, Thomas, you've been following this pretty regularly. What's your take on it?
It's anything but ordinary. It's something that's been going on for a period of time that we look at what's out there, and they keep on coming back with more results. More importantly, we heard stuff last week coming from the ESA. They're going to be classifying things, for the next 75, 99 years or something to that extent, way the hell out there, way beyond our lifetime, way beyond the lifetime of our children, and they want to go ahead and classify that information, which means there's something knowable about this that sets this potential craft aside from other things, or a craft, or whatever it is. Because also, usually when you have a comet that's coming in towards the sun, the tail of the comet is going away from the sun, right? As it approaches the sun, moves away, there's always this tail going away from it. But in this one, the tail is actually going towards the sun. There's lighting properties that are happening that just don't make sense. Clearly, this is just something that shows that our models and our understanding for what interstellar objects are, and potentially their parameters are completely invalid and need to be reevaluated. Because, Mike, humans always act like we know everything. This is exactly the way it's got to be. No, it's not. Sometimes you have to come and say, wow, this is fucking wild. We've never seen shit like this before. Let's see where this is going to go next. But we haven't been hearing anyone in science talk about that. The only one who has is Avi Loeb, and that's to science's detriment, because the more he talks, the more wild it gets, and the more his theories come forward, versus science saying, well, this is where we think it could be, but if it goes outside of it, let's talk about it. But they're not talking about it.
There's at least 7 anomalies with the polarization. They've never seen this type of polarization in a comet before, or any object.
It's right, because
space.
It's something that's different. We haven't seen a lot of stuff like this. The Earth has been going around the sun for billions of years, and for a short sliver of time, we have this ability to see these things, right? Which means more than likely, we have had a lot of these things coming through our solar system as it goes around the sun. Because remember, our solar system is not a part of any particular arm, the long arms of the Milky Way galaxy. We move around at our own rate, and we actually go through tons of arms as we're going around the galactic center of the universe. We just don't understand everything, but that's okay. We only know so much because we've only been around for so long. Humans try to figure themselves out and say, oh my God, we're so important, we know all these things. It's like they're trying to blame all of global warming on humans, but in reality, global climate change comes through the planet and fucks with everything every single time we have a magnetic excursion. which means like where we're at right now, where the magnetic poles are coming through, and they're no longer at the North and South Pole. They're going to meet somewhere in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, they've shifted recently.
We don't know what's going to go on, but we always try to blame it on ourselves and say it. But you know what, Alice? Out of the 9 planets we have in our solar system, 8 of them have confirmed effects from Venus all the way out to Pluto. Every single one of those planets is seeing a change in their atmosphere, which means it's probably not us unless we have the ability to change the atmosphere of all these other planets. There's a bigger system out there that's coming from the center of our galaxy that our solar system is dealing with.
And then we have NASA blacked out right now because we know why. The government shut down.
Oh, government shutdown, yeah.
China hasn't reported. The ESA put out one thing from the Keck telescope.
No, but the ESA came out and gave us some interesting things on it, which was good.
I caught a still from that video, and my still shows the comet, I'm calling it, with the coma, and there is a pinwheel effect around the comet, and it's grabbing at the Fibonacci sequence. The arms of the pinwheel are in the Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah.
I caught that still off the ESA video.
Yeah.
And I've been wondering about that, but I can't get anybody to really take a good look at it.
Yeah.
But there's some real crazy anomalies with that. I
Yeah.
can't wait to find out what that thing is.
We'll see where it goes, my friend. We'll see where it goes.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you for coming forward. Mike, I almost think after the show's over, if people want to jump over to Twitter, Mike, I think we may have to have a space on Twitter to finish off this conversation. What do you think?
Oh, I think we could do that.
Yeah, I think we
that
can.
Would be fun.
I'll share my still with you also.
Yeah, and if the people in the back want to continue to hang out, we'll bring you over to Twitter. How about that?
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. We'll bring you in. Mike, great conversation, great show. We've had a great opportunity to talk about friends. And honestly, since I brought up that page about Beverly Holmes B disappeared, that must be her. Why did she go ahead and remind me that she was on the show before?
I think she wanted to be recognized.
Yeah.
And she seems unsure about things. I think she's also maybe dealing with some issues.
Yeah. Well, we wish her the best. She may be running with similar issues to what Tupacabra is dealing with. And we, you know, call for help. If you think you might need help, call out to a professional. It's the best way to do it. We care about you. We seriously do. Sam, Josh, Beverly, we care about you. We don't want you to wind up in the wrong place. No one should ever be that way. We are loving, caring people, and God be with you, my friend.
Yeah, we don't want to see somebody accidentally lose their life over a mistake that they made. It's, prematurely. That's always a tragedy.
Yeah, I mean, Enoch the Witness brings up really quick, depression is no joke. It's a consuming downward vortex. Get help if you are depressed. There is always someone who loves you and cares, and that's the truth. Don't let it get there. Never. And Mike, me talking about your experiences isn't encouraging someone to do it, but it's a talk about the loss of life and the trauma you've been through as a police officer for the NYPD in your career.
And it's not something that you can ever forget.
No, never.
No. And it's always a tragedy and a shame when people lose their life prematurely because of mistakes that they made.
And just to get back to this really quick, Mike, we covered this briefly at the front of the show. You are a journalist. You have many sources outside of things. And when we were having this conversation going with David Altman back in the past, you were reaching out to people to try and see if they could give you some insight to what was going on. It's not that you were going ahead and accessing any confidential governmental databases to pull information out about this guy who was potentially preying on little kids.
Right, which was also something that was unfortunate. But after I had left the job, I no longer had access to any of that information.
Not one.
But I do have sources that still do, and they were kind enough to share some of the information.
And while that you may have inferred it a little bit differently to sound a bit more important, but the thing is, that's where we're at. That's the truth of this situation. If anyone has a problem with it, well, then come after us. Come on. It's the truth.
Well, I believe, from what I remember, and this is going back a long ways.
2-3 years at least.
I know, but I remember David Altman asking me specifically where he would be able to find this information. And I had to let him know that it's not available to the public because it isn't.
Right.
And that there's no way he's going to be able to access it.
But if it was a sealed record or anything, you still wouldn't have access to it because it was sealed by the courts, right?
I wouldn't have access to it, but there are people who
might have access to it. Gotcha.
Right.
Depending on who the individual is.
Depending on who they are, exactly.
Yeah.
But as a journalist, we and you and I work together closely with this. There are people that reach out to us with information that they want to share, and like they do with Ross and with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, all of those things. So yeah, that's right.
We all have different sources, different ways to get to the answer, my friend. That's what it's about sometimes, because there's so many things that just weave between stuff. And if you have someone who can help you get there, but as a journalist, we have the ability to go ahead and ask and potentially report on this stuff as necessary.
Right. And just like the things that we do report on, there are plenty of things that we have access to that we don't report on for obvious reasons. So that's part of being a journalist. You have to choose what you can release and things that you hold back. And George Knapp talks about it all the time. So
absolutely, Mike. If I can, I want to go ahead and thank everybody for coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. Who am I talking about? Let's talk about Mr. Catfish 2100, the Chromosome Cowboy, Dragon, Brendan England, Charles Kerr once, Charles Kerr twice, Charles Kerr a third time, Charles Kerr a fourth time, Charles Kerr a fifth time, FaZe, Will, and Gizmo. Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful love and support of everything we do here on Disclosure tonight. Mike, I think we're going to follow up with a space on X to go ahead and clear it up. If you know what we're talking about, jump on X, search for Thomas L. Fessler. I'm there, and I will be starting Disclosure tonight to go ahead and pick up where we left off, my friend. Sound like a good idea?
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Disclosure
all right.
on X. Yep.
And as we usually say, my friends, at the end of every episode of Disclosure tonight on YouTube, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everybody, but
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. I want to thank Australian $5 for motivation. Thank you very much. We'll catch you on the flip side. Good night, everybody. Take care now. Bye-bye. See you soon.